Good afternoon. Welcome to session 3 of European Entrepreneurship and Innovation at Stanford Engineering. My name is Burton Lee. I'm the course instructor, and we're very pleased to feature today our first speaker from Bulgaria and I think our third speaker from Slovenia over the course of the 6 years of this speaker series. Our speakers today in session 3 are Vassil Terziev, CEO and co-founder of Telerik, which is a very interesting startup out of Sofia, which I met back in March when I visited Bulgaria for the first time. And then Japec, Jakopin, who is the co-founder and CEO of a very interesting yacht and other industrial design company based in Slovenia, is also here with us today to focus more on product design, manufacturing, what's happening in Slovenia. So we're very pleased to have Vassil here as our first speaker from Bulgaria, and we're looking to hopefully raise the profile of entrepreneurship in Bulgaria, which compared to some other European countries is still a relatively new entrepreneurship ecosystem. Our first speaker is Vassil Terziev, CEO and co-founder of Telerik, and I'm going to turn it over to him. Vassil, thank you for coming all the way from Sofia to be with us.
Thank you, Professor Lee, for inviting me, and it's a great honor to be amongst you here and to be able to share the Telerik story, talk a little bit about where we're coming from, Bulgaria, what has changed in the last 12 years since we started our business, and talk about what makes a company successful. So, a few words about me. My name is Vassil Terziev. I'm co-founder and CEO of Telerik, a company best known for its enterprise software development tools. In addition to running the company today, I and the other co-founders, we try to share the knowledge that we've accumulated throughout the years with other members of the community. We actively mentor startups. We talk about everything we learn about how to create a successful company. And one of the things that makes me really happy is that 12 years down the road since we started with the other 3 co-founders, we're still together in the company, we're still friends, and I consider this one of the bigger accomplishments. I'm based in Sofia, but I spend a lot of my time lately in Palo Alto, so feel free to stop by at our office on University. So Burton already covered a few important things about Bulgaria. You know where it is on the map, just above Turkey and Greece. It's a beautiful, nice country, but what most people find interesting is not the geography, not the demographics, but the last bullet, that it has the lowest corporate and personal income tax in Europe, a flat 10%. And this, together with the great engineering talent that you find in Bulgaria, which is something of a heritage from the times of the Eastern Bloc, where each country had its own specialization. And Bulgaria specialized in high-tech hardware, software, really helps it be what it is today, a thriving center where a lot of R&D and IT is done from companies like SAP, VMware. The second biggest R&D center of VMware after Palo Alto is in Sofia, Bulgaria. So those factors, plus the fact that Sofia, the capital of Bulgaria, is a wonderful city, make it a really nice place to start a business. And it's one of the reasons why I and the other founders are still based there, even though we travel quite a bit to the States lately. So getting back to Telerik, today is a very special day for us because we're releasing to the world what we internally called Telerik 3.0, our third big step, the third really step in our evolution from a single product company to a multi-product, multinational company. Today we're releasing the Telerik platform, which is our vision of how modern applications for web, mobile, and desktop should be built. The combination of industry's leading UI tooling plus cloud services to really capture the whole software development lifecycle and enable developers to create compelling experiences across any screen. So lots of familiar customers. Probably all of you have used at least one application that was built with Telerik tools for web, mobile, desktop. 130,000 customers, 40,000 companies, from one-man shops to some of the biggest companies in the world, very diverse client base. And behind all of that magic is these guys in the yellow suits. The amazing team of over 800 people spread around the world who create those products and who help our customers excel at what they do. And as you can see, in addition to really working hard and trying to build a professional organization, we also try to enjoy what we're doing, to really stay true to our core values, one of which, in addition to the meritocracy of ideas, unselfishness, respect for colleagues and customers, is really to play hard. And we have managed to keep those core values consistent throughout the years. Our culture has changed quite a bit, and at first we were afraid. Over time we understood that as the company grows to being a global company, when it scales in size, you cannot avoid in any meaningful way to change your culture. But what really matters is to stay true to your core values. And one of our really core values is that we look at our business like a big family, and we try to instill the same values that hold a family, a friendship at work. We spend more time with our colleagues than with our families, so we thought that the same values would probably apply. And as you can see, we try always to have a lot of fun, because only when you have fun at work do great results happen. It's shown in the output. One thing we really enjoy doing is engaging with the community, and by community we mean not just the developer community, user groups, events, organizing our own event, which from something small became one of the premier events in Southeastern Europe for technology. We brought the big US tech events to that place, which was completely devoid of good events. To our work with the community, it's again something with which we take great pride, from involvement with welfare projects to planting trees to doing good, just because we believe that if you are lucky to build a good business, to be healthy, to enjoy life, you should try to do the same for other people in a meaningful way and share. It makes you a better person, better company. And let's talk a little bit about the beginning, how it all started. So that's one very early picture. I think it was taken in 2003. That's the other co-founders here. Svetozar, Boyko, and Christo, our CTO, the only developer from the 4 founders. We had an inverted pyramid, 1 guy doing all the work and 3 guys giving orders. So as I mentioned, we started it in 2002. Didn't have a very clear idea. We aspired to be a consultancy. Just because everybody else was doing that. Nobody in Bulgaria in 2002 was building products, doing startups. Everybody was doing outsourcing work. So we were very creative and thought we'd do the same. So 2-3 months down the road, we saw that we're in a pretty bad spot, just because we didn't have a customer base. We didn't have time to build the customer base on the international markets where we would be able to make meaningful revenue from those projects, and the local market was very, very ungrateful. In 2002, people didn't want to pay for anything that was virtual. If you couldn't touch it, it was worth 0. So we quickly understood that we had to do something, and we tried to productize one of the experimental projects of our CTO, a set of user interface libraries for the then nascent Microsoft .NET framework. And Christo, our CTO, he gave us an ultimatum. He said, point blank, guys, you got 3 weeks to sell your first license. If you don't sell the first license, I'm packing the bags, going to my parents, and obviously that would have been the end to our business, because we had just 1 developer. And it was a crisis situation, so we had to do something about it. Svetozar and I ramped up our marketing skills, put up this beautiful marketing collateral. Back then we were very proud of it. Now it doesn't look that pretty. But the miracle happened, and 2 weeks down the road we sold our first license to a Swiss company, then another one to a US company, and 4 or 5 weeks later we kind of had the feeling that we've nailed it, that we have something like the possibility to build a business. Not a real business, but the possibility to build one. So we started canceling all the consulting work that we got and put all of our efforts into building the products and the product side of the business. One thing that we really focused on from the very early beginning was on the user experience design, making things more beautiful. Back then, everything was very ugly. So this was our way to differentiate, and it paid off. When you don't have the breadth of your competitors, you can always compensate through customer service and through user experience. And one other thing that we did was to really work close with customers and offer them a special license, which included prepaid work. And as a result, we managed to save a little bit to start hiring our first people. And this was a big one. Now, you might not understand why I put it here, but when you're a web-based business and you're stuck without internet for 3 weeks, and all 4 of us had to rely on an unstable dial-up connection to work with our customers, it was a very big victory, finally getting working internet. So in 2006, we made a really big step. We opened our office in Boston. Office meaning this one room in the Regis in Newton with just one guy, but with big ambition. And this is the Waltham office today. Quite bigger than the initial one in the Newton. Around 2007, 2008, as the company was growing, we faced one inflection point where we had to make the decision of, do we want to build a professional business, or do we want to keep it a cowboy-run lifestyle business? We opted for growth. We decided we want to build a big, sustainable, high-quality business. And that was one of the reasons why we took investment from Summit Partners, a leading VC and private equity company. They've been a great partner, and they've helped us a lot to shape Telerik, to mature the business and prepare it for what was to come in the next few years of quick growth. So as you can see by the numbers, the business was growing pretty fast. And we hit the problem that many other growing businesses also struggle with, and it was with finding quickly high-quality talent, people who are prepared to make a contribution from day one, to be successful on the job. And there weren't that many people to really fuel our business. So we created the Telerik Academy, and it's something that I am personally, one of the things I'm most proud of, because this is our mini university. It started off as a small idea to provide training for the employees that were going to start a job at Telerik. And today, it's the leading non-government and educational institution in Bulgaria. We work with kids from 4th grade to people who have just graduated from university, provide free training in 40+ courses, prepare people from basic skills of programming, retraining them, to providing intensive 7-month courses in software development and engineering, in quality assurance, and has worked great for us because we've been able to attract some of the best people coming from the ranks of the academy. It has worked well for the ecosystem at large, because 9 out of 10 people would join the ranks of other companies, competitors, and it has just created a very healthy effect on the ecosystem. Fast forward to 2013, another big milestone in our history. After 11 years in business, we finally figured out that the Silicon Valley is an important place for a technology business. As they say, better late than never. But it has been a great experience for us. And being here is very different than reading about here from TechCrunch, Pando Daily, and just following the news. We've been able to attract a great group of people. And one thing that changed, being here, immersing yourself in this world, was that our ambitions changed and our view of what Telerik can be and will be changed. So it was a really important and great step for us. This is our office above the Palo Alto bicycle. So if any of you feels like stopping by, having a chat, feel free to stop by. So just wanted to finish with a few words about the startup ecosystem in Bulgaria, which is not yet Estonia. We don't get those successful startups. We don't get that much news coverage. But being involved in it and seeing the progress of the last 2 years has been a really amazing experience. Seeing the quality of the startups, the ideas, what we've been able to accomplish is a network of mentors, of incubators, of instruments to fund those startups has been great. And I'm pretty sure that all of you guys will be hearing a lot more about nice startups coming from Bulgaria. I see one over there. Hi, guys. So many things have changed for the better. The infrastructure overall changed, legislation, tax code, everything you can think of changed for the better. But one thing did not change, and it's pretty universal for Bulgaria and for the rest of the world. You really need a great idea and a great team. You need a lot of passion, dedication, hard work, and a little bit of luck to really make it a real business. And speaking of a team, I just wanted to say a big thank you to our team, the Telerik team, the people whose hard work really made it possible for me to get invited and speak in front of you. So big thank you for being a wonderful audience, and I guess now it's time for questions.
Thank you, Vassil. Questions? Yes, thank you. Yes, sir.
I'm very happy to meet you. I am the Honorary Consul of Romania, but I am also with my company one of the first clients that you guys had from the beginning. And our developers from Romania went to your nice conference. So we know you very well. I have a question because we know from the Romanian point of view that many of our startups, they go to Bulgaria because the infrastructure compared Bulgaria with Romania apparently is much more friendly than in Romania. What I would like to know, what was the trigger which created this boom in the infrastructure, and what was the trigger to bring the angel money and the investment to Bulgaria?
Well, I don't really know how the pan-European decisions on who to fund, speaking of the European Investment Fund, work. But I think what happened in Bulgaria is really a factor of people. The people who are running those accelerators and everyone in the community and their passion. I'm absolutely amazed by the community spirit and how everyone feels that it's their mission to really make this thing work. I believe this is the key to success, the unselfishness. And it's very close to what I've seen here in the Valley as just an overall mentality that unlike the typical Balkan or European approaches, I do something for you, you do something for me, the quid pro quo. Like in the Valley, we're at this stage where everybody is just doing good for the sake of doing good and passing on and expecting that at some point it's going to come back to them. And this unique spirit, I think, is what triggered everything, and it just accelerates. And it's amazing to see those results.
Thank you, George. Yes?
How important was the company culture and the entrepreneurs in your company for the success of Telerik?
I think culture, it's a personal opinion, but I think culture it makes or breaks companies. It's what, as we talk about it internally, it's your immune system. It helps you survive bugs. It makes you stronger once you get past the bugs, and it helps you deal with all the challenges. So, but I just want to make another key point, the difference between core values and culture, because culture changes. And at first I didn't know that these two are different, but what should stay the same is values, you know, who you are as people, what are the unbreakable rules in your relationships and how you see the world. That shouldn't change, you know. Culture, it changes. I mean, with every new office, with every international person we've hired, the culture changed. The way we communicate, the way we think about the business, scale, the markets in which we operate, it changes. So changing culture, good. Changing values, bad.
And what about the entrepreneurs? Do you celebrate them, or do you allow the people the innovative role and to have suggestions to you and like to the C staff? Or?
Yeah, well, as I said, one of our core values is the meritocracy of ideas. So when you become a bigger company, you can't avoid structure. But structure is really about the execution engine, how you make things work, how you manage changes. But we're like a startup when it comes to the flow of ideas. The good ideas should be supported, and every manager, leader in the company knows that and promotes the good ideas. And we celebrate failure as much as we can.
Question over here.
So in 2006, you decided to go to Boston. Why Boston and not Silicon Valley?
Because we didn't know anybody in Silicon Valley, and my college roommate was based in Boston. So we had trust in him, knew he's a good guy, and apparently he had the passion to do things.
Question for you. So when I was in Sofia last March, I was told something that was quite extraordinary. I was told that the number of Groupon clones that had been created in Bulgaria was 83.
Wow.
Now, I haven't been able to verify that number.
I had 38. Same numbers, but reversed.
Okay. 38 or 83, that's a lot of cloning. Do you see the number of clones coming down now today versus a couple of years ago? Cloning's it's a symptom of lack of good ideas, lack of communication, isolation from the global ecosystem.
Yeah.
You know, it involves many issues.
I actually never followed the Groupon clones because I didn't think they're that interesting. Friends of mine built the first Groupon clone, and from there was an avalanche of others. But judging from the progress of the last few years, from the first events to really promote entrepreneurship, the Empower program, if you're familiar, to what happens today with Launch Hub and with 11, I've seen tremendous progress, both in terms of the number of startups and ideas and the quality of those ideas. Reading some of the first business plans, I wasn't impressed by the ideas. But today, I'm on the investment committee of 11. It's really hard to pick from all those great ideas what to fund. So it's a good sign that things are going in the right direction. And those are not clones. Many of those are really innovative ideas and not just a clone of a social app or service that you'd find here, trying to localize it for a smaller market.
So you're seeing increased numbers of companies, so increased deal flow, but also higher quality as well?
I don't think we're at the stage where we have increased deal flow, meaning we're just starting, because it's a funnel. If you don't build the top of the funnel, all those smaller companies that then get seed, then get VC money, you can't really build an ecosystem. So we're at the very top, but some of those companies are really successful in now getting seed funding, and I believe that they'll be able to create sustainable businesses.
Just for clarification, Launch Hub and 11 are two new venture funds, accelerators that have been supported by the European Investment Fund under the Jeremy program in the last year and a half.
Year and a half.
Right. And I met both teams when I was there. I was very impressed with all the investment management people, experienced former entrepreneurs, current entrepreneurs. For a very young ecosystem, I thought Bulgaria was quite impressive. Next question. Yes, Val.
Okay. What was the most difficult time in your company? And obviously you made the decision left or right that saved the company. Do you have this type of experience, drama?
Other than the drama with the internet? That was a big point of drama because, you know, we invented the online-offline experience. I had to unhook my computer, bring it to Svetozar's desk, hook it in, get my emails, unhook it, move it to my desk, and then crunch emails all day long. And this happened for 3 weeks. Now, jokes aside, one of the biggest challenges for us was really managing growth. We grew too quickly, and we didn't manage to really build the right set of middle management within the company. We ourselves weren't that experienced managers. The guys who we promoted were not. So at some point, we had a big structure which was not really functioning super well. And it took us a good deal of time to clean it up, put everything in control, and really start managing that properly, set the right expectations, set the right KPIs, measurements, and really become a professional organization. And you know, the VC investment we took was one of those things that really helped us transform the company for the better. But
yes,
you know, Val,
yes,
these types of things, they happen all the time. Every day it's a struggle, you know. Every time I think we're past this challenge, now it's going to be all roses, and they just change their color, but challenges stay.
So we have a question from Dusan Stojanovic. For those of you who are not familiar with who Dusan is, he was awarded the prize of, correct me, the best angel investor in Europe for 2013. Is that?
That's correct.
Yes, that's correct. And you're based in Sweden?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Background from Southeast Europe as
yes.
well.
Welcome to Stanford.
Thank you very much. I'm extremely impressed, and I've met you once before, of what you've achieved, because it's so rare in Europe, especially. But what next? What do you have in the plan for the future, for the kind of next couple of years?
Well, for the next couple of years, we're trying to stay on track with our ambition to really build a big, successful, sustainable business. Whether we're going to go, you know, public at some point, or whether it's going to be some sort of strategic exit, whether it's going to be some other event, you never know. But we've always had the belief that if you do what's right every day, if you don't compromise, if you work hard to keep your customers happy and to keep your employees happy, the sky's the limit. So we're shooting for the sky.
So just to put things, oh yes, one question back here at the end.
So I'm just curious, is the Bulgarian startup scene mostly revolving around software, or are there other industries such as medtech, cleantech that are sort of evolving? More capital intensive, I guess.
It's mostly software. There are some good ideas around industrial design, around clean technologies and whatnot, but most of the investments today happen in software. And the reason is that those are much easier to make, much easier to scale, and they're not that capital intensive. So when you're laying the foundation, you're looking for more or less quick wins. And software presents the best opportunity to really get the wheel turning. So I don't know how many of you are following what's happening on University Avenue, but University Avenue is becoming the new Sandhill Road of Silicon Valley. The German accelerator has recently just located there from Plug and Play.
Innovation House, which is run by the Norwegians, is just off University Avenue. Telerik is right over the bike shop. You know, to go from Sofia to downtown Palo Alto is a very strong statement. The Finns also have their office on or near University Avenue. So this is a great presence for Bulgaria to have in the heart of Silicon Valley, and I hope we see a lot more of Telerik in the coming months and years. So now we're going to go on to our second speaker from Slovenia, Japec Jakopin, who is from Seaway Design. We're going to do a little bit of transition here, so please be patient. This won't be too bad. So I met Japec in Tallinn in April at an MIT conference, actually. And I'm from mechanical engineering, the design group here at Stanford. We have a lot of software companies, as you can see, coming out of Europe who speak here. The majority of them actually are software companies. But because I'm in the design group, I look for, and I have to look for, because the course is a mechanical engineering course, we are interested in finding interesting design and manufacturing companies that are in Europe as well. So I was immediately struck by Japec when I met him in Tallinn. He's from Slovenia. He's not Estonian. We met in Estonia. Very impressed by what he's doing, but also this is a different type of company. First of all, you've been around since 1983, I believe, as a company. You're family owned, correct? And they're a design firm, design consultancy that has achieved major global recognition for its yacht designs and other technologies and projects. So, Japec, welcome to Stanford.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
The beamer? Yeah. Okay. So, hello everybody. I'm very happy to be here, to be able to tell us what we are doing, to trying to transmit some of our passion for boats and the sea to your group. So, my name is Japec Jakopin. Our company is called Seaway. I founded it with my brother, Jernej. So, we're from Slovenia, which is an Alpic country. You see, these are the Alps here. This is the Balkan Peninsula with Bulgaria here, Sofia. We heard about it before. Of course, Slovenia is not in the Balkan region or Southeast Europe, but never mind. We are very friendly with everybody around, as you will see. So our national sport is skiing, and world's best woman skier is Tina Maze, and the proof that we're a skiing nation is probably you saw me limping. My knees are bad. So our identity, this is the national symbol of Slovenia, is the highest mountain, which is called Triglav, which means three heads. And we think that the high concentration of high-tech small companies in Slovenia is a big part of our identity. We're lying in the crossroad of Europe, and tourism is an important part of our economy, so this is how we see ourselves. If we look at tourism, Slovenia is a very small place. You cannot drive more than 1 hour by car from in any direction from Ljubljana, the capital. Slovenia lies about 1 hour east of Venice by car. So this is the Mediterranean part. This is Piran on the coast. This is in the Alps. The place is called Bled. The Austrian border is here, and our company is right here, the center of the company. The headquarters, so to say. This is Ljubljana, the town where I live. It's an old 4,000-year-old town with a hill, with a castle, and with a river going around it, like all mid-European towns like Salzburg or Prague or the others. Well, when we say crossroad of Europe, to understand Slovenia, you must see that we're on the spot where the three big cultures and the three big families of European nations touch. You know, the Latin countries are to the west, to the north are Germanic countries, and to the east the Slavic. And we're always multinational, always multicultural. We had to speak the languages and so on for the past 2,000 years at least. We're 2 million people in Slovenia. If we go to examples of small high-tech companies, this is a company of a friend of mine, Pipistrel, which builds small aeroplanes made of carbon. This one won the NASA award here in California for the record distance transporting 4 passengers with 1 gallon of fuel or adequate electrical energy. This plane took 4 passengers 405 miles far with 1 gallon per passenger. So it was the first time understood that the air travel is much, much cheaper and energy efficient than road and the car. This is another friend of ours, a neighbor and school friend of my brother, Akrapovic. He's building exhaust systems based on titanium and carbon technology, and he's a world champion in exhaust systems from Formula 1 to Ferraris, Lamborghinis or motorbikes. Nobody builds more efficient, which means they are lighter, they produce more horsepower in a given car and more Newton meters, and the sound is great. We are also providers of brain power to some universities like Stanford. There's a friend of mine, Jure. He's not here with us today, unfortunately, but we met last night and he's feeling okay here. So let's go to Seaway. Here are the founders, my brother and myself. We're both coming from another profession. Boating was hobby, and then we changed our hard work for a hobby. We said this will be very nice just to mess around boats and have fun. It seemed like a great idea. This is an aerial photo of one of our 4 yards. We have 1 yard in Italy on the coast. Then we have 3 yards in Slovenia. This one is in the Alpic region, as you saw before. So our ID card, what is interesting here is that our people come from 14 countries, and the language spoken is mostly English to make everybody understand. We have, of course, designers, engineers. We are probably the biggest European milling center with 3 big milling machines to mill the stuff we design. And we have all the other stuff we need to be able to work. And we own 3 lines of boats, Green Line, Shippen and Skagen, which we'll talk about. What we did in the last 30 years, about 270 projects for yards from 28 countries. What does not seem difficult to us, but seems difficult, for example, for the big cultures like the French or the Americans, who have great ease of talking to anybody because we're so unimportant and so small. So for us, it doesn't matter if we go to Vladivostok or to Florida or to Taiwan or China. We are equally well everywhere. Of course, if you're around and if you're patient for enough of time, they have these awards, they have to give it to somebody, so you get them sooner or later. So probably we're off internet here, huh? Well, it's Silicon Valley.
Yes.
Can you try to get it back? It would be nice.
We're not off internet. I'm not sure what's going on here. Sorry.
Oh, here we are. Here we go. Good. So this is a boat we developed for the world's biggest boat builders, Seaway, part of Brunswick Group, a US. These are trial sails on a prototype boat. This is a hidden outboard engine boat, quite an interesting new concept. The boat is now sold as Venture 370 Seaway, but this is an example of how we developed this concept from scratch, and then the boat is now built in the So we feel well in these three areas: boat development, carbon sailboat building, and we're the biggest provider of hybrid boats. We serve other industries beside boating. All these industries basically deal with composite materials. So that's why we have technology to be able to serve those industries. The technologies we use are basically around 3D design and engineering. Of course, things with boats start with tank testing in a tank facility. Sailboats, we always work with the Institute Haslar tank in Gosport in England, and the powerboats are tested in Zagreb in Croatia. This is an example of an engineering and design of a lifting keel, which is hydraulically operated. These are some examples of work under the milling machine. These are 20-meter milling machines. These are parts of the hydropower turbines. And these are the wind blade tools. We did in the past years some of the world's biggest wind blade tools. The blades are now 83, 84 meters long, one, and the power of such a machine is 7.5 megawatts. They're really big. They stand in an ocean somewhere. So the composite technologies are various. We try to work hard to teach robots to do things which were normally manually done in composite area, replacing manual work with robotic. We try to, with relatively complex tooling, which is all based on 3D design and engineering, try to speed up the production process. This is the shipment. The shipment carbon sailboat. Carbon enables the boat to be very light. So these boats plane are very fast. Here the speed, where the first sequences were about 18 knots. Such a boat goes very fast across the oceans. We basically brought the technology from America's Cup and from ocean racing into the domain of cruising. These are Skagen semi-displacement trawler boats, which are also surrounded with efficiency of the hull, so that you can cover a great area of speeds with equal efficiency. Green line is the line we designed and developed in 2000, end of 7, 8, and through 9. We invested a lot of money in the time when money was already getting very scarce. But these boats are diesel electric, fully electric, and all are solar powered with zero emission, no noise, and no wake sailing, which is a new culture of power boating. We see that in the last years the overstatement changed from saying I'm the best, I'm the richest, I'm the strongest, to I'm intelligent, I'm using design and technology in an intelligent way, and I'm respectful to the environment, to the people around me. We were quite relatively successful in selling 450 boats in the last 3 years, and we developed a range from 33 to 70 feet.
And what's the cost per boat?
On average?
It starts at $150,000, $180,000, and the bigger boats are around $3 million.
And 450 of those in 3 years.
Yes.
That's really impressive.
So this is again the Lake of Blid, where the environment is delicate. So in all the lakes in Europe, it's only permitted to sail with electric engines. This is this lake where the boats can sail in electric, and of course with a diesel engine, the boat can, such a hybrid boat can power through the seas. It's a very seaworthy boat. So it has two ways of sailing. what we work on now, we work a lot on hydrodynamics. We spend a lot of money in the testing facilities, trying to understand how to make hulls more efficient, how the boat would consume less energy, and because if you want the boats to move around with electrical energy, then you need great efficiency. So this is a mathematical analysis of tank testing. This is a boat we designed for the World's Association of rowing sports, because these boats should run at something like 16, 17 knots for hours and hours to be able to follow the championships, and of course they should be electric. We work a lot on industrial processes, trying to take work out of the yacht, to be able to assemble everything outside and then just to glue the things inside. For example, a 76-footer today, we can complete 95% of the work outside of the boat, and then the gluing sequence is 15 minutes. So things changed in the years. Today, there's quite a big trend of using efficient manufacturing facilities somewhere in a place and then shipping stuff in a container to an area where products is assembled together. Of course, the process is gluing with composites, which is enabled by jigs and by relatively simple procedures anywhere in the world. We designed a management system which is used by the Green Line community, by the owners of Green Line boats, where such a green box gathers all the information about the technical things on the boat, which is then transmitted to an iPad and is managed by an iPad. We currently work also on a system where the energy produced by the solar roofs when the boats are sitting in the marina are injected into the grid, and now we want to enable that Green Line community can use this energy produced also free of cost, taking it back from the grid. And we think that the fuel cells will be extremely important in the future steps of electrical propulsion, because today we're residing on batteries, and the problem with batteries is they can store relatively small amount of energy. We feel that green boating, it was a word a couple of years back. Today it's not a word, it's something very true and very real, and we think that this will expand in quite an important way. As a conclusion, I would like to say something about the business of our company. We were sailing very happily until things started to go wrong. In Europe, for us, the date is 20th September of 2008. Probably in US you felt it a bit earlier. The boat market worldwide dropped about 70%. More in sailboats and a bit less in powerboats. Europe is still very, very depressed. The other problem, of course, is that the credit markets froze, which made things worse. What we tried to do to react, we developed the Green Line boat line, we diversified in other industries, we turned to markets outside Europe, and with all these three things we were able to grow the turnover. And of course at the same time we had to improve on the cost side, so our business year last year, 13, was best ever in turnover and profit. And we have a feeling that we are well positioned for rapid growth, whatever the markets do, as long as they don't go down dramatically. This is my email address and our main website, and that's all I wanted to tell you, and I'd be happy to talk to you and answer the questions which might arise.
So one of the things I think is pretty cool about Slovenia is their domain name, given where we live. Any questions? Who's got the first question for Japec? Who's a sailor? Surely we have, okay, Julius. From Switzerland, the Swiss General Consul.
May I ask a question, please? I'm really very impressed by this presentation. Actually, one of my favorite questions, I believe I mentioned it also, I asked a similar question last time, I believe. You know, this is a great example for me, a very encouraging example, because I believe to understand that this has been private initiative and not much public funding involved. Can you tell me, in your country, when you look at innovation, how much of angel capital would come from public funds like the European Investment Bank, and how much could be private funding?
Very little, very little. Basically, it's all virtually auto-financed. Slovenia is a small country which is somehow out of focus for these things because there's not enough mass. It's a small country, but it's an LP country, and especially in Europe, it is known that most of the innovation and creativity comes from LP countries. If you're from Switzerland, you know what I'm talking about. But things are getting better. I must say that lately we have more attention, and things are improving quite fast.
I think I want to add that my brother-in-law is from Slovenia, and I have the highest respect for your country. And I like also the...
What's his name? Probably I know him.
I don't think he's been living in Switzerland for a long time, but he's also from the medical profession.
Okay, where is he living in Switzerland?
In Lucerne.
Lucerne, okay.
Also have a nice lake there.
Yeah, I know. I spent a lot of time in Solothurn. I have family there, so.
What is the population of Slovenia?
2 million.
2 million. So small, a little bit larger than Estonia. Estonia is about 1.3 million, just to put things in context. Next question. I think we had one over on this side. Any other sailors? Let's see. Surely we have some sailors here in the audience. Dusan.
From Sweden, I'm very impressed because there have been so many companies in this niche that haven't done it, as I guess you know, and made it all during the last crisis. I was a little bit interested in how you manage actually to diversify, especially internationally outside of Europe. How did that happen? By coincidence? Where did you go?
Actually, boating world is quite small, you know. The major boat builders in the world are about 100, and everybody knows everybody. And we are at all the boat shows. We have to be the big boat shows. I spend about 2 months of my time every year at boat shows, and I don't think it was difficult because we are meeting those people, and when the Americans saw that they can gain in productivity by changing the design or technology and so on, it was very easy step for them to decide, and basically your work speaks for you. They see what you did, and if that had a good effect on other boat builders, they come for your services. So I think the world is getting very small, and the culture is not so different, and it's basically easy to access all markets today. If you go to Taiwan or to mainland China or to Russia or other countries, the world is really getting global and small.
Well, if I might fill in, I think maybe what Dušan's looking for are questions like, did you set up sales representatives in these major countries? Do you have marketing,
different areas of work, as you saw. You know, on the development side, it's Jernej, my brother, and myself who talk directly to the boat yards. And we're not actively selling. They come to us, or we meet and we talk. It's relatively easy. On the shipment side, we talk directly to the clients, which are typically rich people. And on the green line side, we have dealers, importers in many, I think in 30 or 35 countries. I'm very happy to have our representatives from San Francisco here with us today. So it's a two-step distribution process, so different from product to product. But I don't think getting at markets is, they always say it's difficult and so on. I think it happens semi-automatically. You, by your name, probably are you from Serbia or somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, I was born in Sweden, so it's more kind of grandparents.
Okay.
I never lived there, actually.
You never lived in Serbia, but your name was, is as typical as it can be because we were in the same country together, and I know many people who have your family name.
Vassil, could I ask you to come up and join Japec over on this side, please, so the camera captures both of you.
No.
So, Japec, how many employees do you have today at Seaway?
About 240, 250.
And how would you say your growth over the past 5 years has been, just in terms of employees?
We grew maybe 20% in the last 5 years, but the last 5 years were the most difficult ones in our history, of course.
Now, as a software company, you face a very different environment. What's your growth been like for the last 5 years in employees?
Yeah, I think about 100 and something people a year, 150 probably.
So software versus hardware. Although you do your own in-house embedded systems, embedded software, you have some software people in-house?
Well, actually, we work with CATIA, which is the 3D engineering, or UG, or SolidWorks and stuff like that, which are programs which we buy and we work with because our clients use them, so we have to have them. We don't develop our own software.
And what percentage of your employees would be sales and marketing?
Maybe 5, 6 persons.
Persons out of 200.
People, yeah.
People. Okay. Telerik,
we're not at 5%.
Sales and marketing.
Sales and marketing, I think, is about 15-20%.
Of staff out of 830 plus people today,
I think it's
globally.
About 15.
Right.
Yeah. It's a lot of supporting roles. When you think about sales and marketing, don't think about 120 quota-bearing guys running around in circles all over to close deals. You need a lot of supporting roles to really finalize a deal.
Right. Venture-backed company.
Yeah.
Family-owned, self-financed, bootstrap company.
We
Correct.
also have a partner since 11 years, which owns 50% of capital and 49% of voting rights in the company since 2001. So we're run by family, but we have a partner which is a financial company from Ljubljana.
Okay. Opening it back up for questions. That was a little bit of context. I think we lost the screen. Yes, Dion.
Question for you. Could you maybe try and go back in time and tell us how did you actually start? I mean, it just seems so ridiculous on paper to go from, I think you said a radiologist, and your brother was perhaps I forgot what it was, but architect, nothing to do with voting. And I realized this is your hobby, of course, but turning hobby into business is very challenging. So what do you think enabled you to get to where you are in the very beginning?
It's passion, basically, and love for boats. It's not so difficult as it seems. You know, your hobby is always a big competitor of your profession. You're very good at your hobby because you're so interested. You know, on the side of your bed you have books and magazines about your hobby. You know, so it's always a great competition, and it's always some events and some chance or something which happened. In my case, I was politically not on the right side in the communist days, so I could not be a professor at the university, so my choice was relatively simple.
Yes?
So what is your hobby right now?
It's still boats. It's still boats. I have a sailboat. I sail with my family every year down to Greece, and we spend a lot of time on boats, and I'm happy on the sea.
So sign-up sheets for the next cruise are here. Yes, I think you were first.
We're with the dealer that sells green lines in San Francisco, and we had the privilege of visiting a factory over in Slovenia where, you know, I'm a U.S. born and educated person, and my mind was blown by the talent and passion of the workforce. And I noticed also in your presentation you spoke of setting up a training company. And as I've know your people and work with them, and I know your people. I ask them, where did you learn what you know how to do? I watch these designers, and they tell me they taught themselves. I'm sitting here at Stanford University wondering, would you encourage a young person that wanted to be an entrepreneur to go to college, or would you tell them to follow their passion and figure it out?
I think a wide and deep education does not hurt at all. You know, if I'm looking at my medical days and I say, well, I spent 15 years working and studying, I think every piece of knowledge is a very firm foundation. You can build a much higher structure. It's not an obligation, college, but it's not hurting by all means.
Yeah. I would definitely encourage people to go to college, just because college offers a lot more than education. A lot of the key relationships I and the other founders built happened in college. I met 2 of the 3 other founders in college. We became friends in college. Many of the first employees that joined the company were friends from college. Our first guy in the US was my roommate from college. So the social circle network you build from college, you can't substitute that via online education and just running your own thing. It's a good thing. It gives you, a wide perspective of the world. You learn very valuable skills on general problem solving. Not that I remember much of what I studied in college. I was supposed to, as I said on the first slide, I ended up in technology by chance. I was supposed to be the next Wolf of Wall Street, but had an unexpected career change. And I don't remember much of the stuff I learned, but it was a very useful experience, and people should not cut on university.
Yes.
And an added note to the Green Line dealer here locally in San Francisco. If anybody here does want to see one of the first ever hybrid boat, we do have it down in the Marina District next to Fort Mason at City Yachts. If you want to come down, we're there every day. I can show you how the electronics work on board and so on.
Can people come and talk to you after the lecture and get your business card? Okay, so if the 2 of you could just come up to make sure you're available to anyone in the audience. We have time for a couple more questions. Yes?
In terms of Seaway, I'd like to know when you started off, right, being family backed with your brother, how did you finance all the plant and equipment? How did you finance all the R&D? Because what you're doing seems to be quite cutting edge.
Well, we started with 0. And then we were a design company first with my brother and myself, and we did designs for companies, and the designs were very successful, and we were paid royalty fee. So every boat that's sold, we got between 0.5% and 2% of the sales. So we got relatively rich in a couple of years, and then we were able to spend all that building a company. It seemed like a good idea, yeah.
I know that sales come relatively easy and people come to you for them, but with only 5 people in your sales and marketing team, don't you think you could increase that by 15, 20 people and then double the size of your business or something?
Our market share is high, so I don't think that if we would feel that that would help, we would do that for sure. If we look at the development side, we are talking to 100 organizations worldwide, and we know everybody. So there's not much to do there. On the shipment side, we have to deal directly with the owners, which are billionaires in many cases, and the guys don't want to talk to a salesman. They want to talk to the owner. They want the answer now, in next second, not tomorrow. So what is left is Green Line, and Green Line is basically run by dealers. So we just have to serve the dealers. It's more of an administration process than actively selling. The selling is done by the dealer network. But if we would feel, we would of course add up, but it's a different industry. By tripling the sales force, we would probably increase the sales by 5 or 10%. I would think. Maybe I'm wrong.
So just to begin wrapping this up, just to put this in context, 200 size person company in Slovenia is a really big deal. I mean, that's very substantial for Slovenia and for many European countries. Seaway is a great example of the many family-owned companies that exist in Europe in manufacturing and design that are world-class, that are not as well known on the global stage as they could and should be. This is why we wanted to bring Seaway Design here to showcase an example of a great family-owned company. Telerik is an example of the new generation of companies being created and grown in southeastern Europe in general. And if Slovenia is not southeast, what?
Central Europe.
You would put that under CEE? Okay. So next week we go on to Denmark and Austria to talk about European entry strategies for Silicon Valley companies. I'd like to thank our two speakers who've come a very long way to be with us, and to thank them with a small Stanford souvenir and gift. Japec, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Vassil.
Thank you, Burton.
Thank you.